Have you ever stopped to think, wow, there's a lot of smart people in this world, and I'm just not one of those people? No, I'm just kidding. You should always have confidence in yourself. But the very intelligent man I was thinking of ran down the street naked, yelling Eureka after discovering the principle of buoyancy. That man is known as Archimedes. Yes, I know that sounds crazy, but he was a genius, I promise you. Archimedes was born on the island of Syracuse, Sicily in 287 BC. Not much is known about his life as a child, but we do know that he has royal blood in his system, with his father being Phidias and being related to King Herod II. We also know that when Archimedes was 10, he moved to Alexandria, Egypt for his studies. Now that's a bright kid. Later in life, he became an astronomer, mathematician, competent engineer, physicist, philosopher, and inventor. If you ask me, that's pretty good to put on a resume. He lived for 75 years and was accidentally killed in a Roman invasion. He was said to be drawing a mathematical equation in the sand when he was so intrigued with his work, he didn't see the soldier behind him, and these famous words suddenly became his last. "Don't disturb my circles." Archimedes had a couple of famous quotes throughout his lifetime, though. Here's an example. "Give me a place to stand, and with a lever, I will move the entire world." Meaning, give him a lever, and I can move the biggest things you can imagine. Since Archimedes was an inventor, he invented many, many things. These are just a few things he invented in his short lifetime. One of his most famous creations was the compound pulley. With enough pulleys and enough rope, a single man could lift 2,000 pounds. Another one of his famous creations is the Archimedes water screw. Imagine a bottom part of a screw put in big proportion, rotating upwards while carrying water. The water would usually get carried up to a farmer's land. And on another note, let's say you wanted to measure that farmer's land. You'd need another one of his inventions, an odometer. An odometer is with every 400 ticks, these discs is 1 mile. And to save your breath from counting to 400 every mile, so many things can go wrong. You could miscount, lose your breath. A notification will sound or show, and then the farmer would usually keep tallies of how many notifications he gets. One of his other creations is his iron hand, which helped in battle, accurate calculations of the number pi, finding the area and surface area of a cylinder, and discovering the principle of buoyancy. Also, to give you background information on the story earlier when he was running down the street undressed, I will admit that's a little crazy, but a king hired Archimedes to make sure his blacksmith wasn't getting in the way of stealing his gold. He gave the blacksmith only enough gold to make his crown, none to steal for himself. So Archimedes was given the job to make sure he didn't steal the gold. He knew he couldn't measure the crown with the irregular measurements, and he couldn't weigh it because in case the blacksmith was smart, and he replaced the gold with something equally as heavy. So as anybody would do, Archimedes went home that night and took a bath. He filled his bathtub to the brim with water, and as he got in, he noticed that the water level didn't just rise, but spilled over the top. Gears worked in his brain as he concluded the principle of buoyancy. He was so thrilled with his findings that he forgot to dress himself and ran down his street yelling Eureka, which is Greek for I found it. And thousands of years later, we still don't know if he ever cleaned up that water on his tile. Oh well. On a serious note, if you think about it, we use a lot of his inventions today. I mean, we use pulleys in cars, boats, factories, even in Mr. Lester's science class. Even Euclid was heavily influenced by Archimedes, and that says a lot because Euclid can also go under one of the greatest mathematicians that ever lived category. Another thing that we use a lot is fulcrum levers, which he invented and found that too. And one more thing that's all around us is buoyancy. If you're doing the dishes, maybe one plate floats and the other doesn't, or if you're getting in a bath, like Archimedes did, filled with water, and you notice the water level rising, though hopefully you don't spill any water. You know, even lava lamps have to deal with buoyancy and density. And I still can't believe that over 2,000 years later, we're still using these simple and complicated creations that he made. He managed to shape the future, check off all of my bucket list goals, and be remembered today, all these years later, all because of his great mind. Is Archimedes a key Greek figure? I definitely think so.